Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Tuna. Here today with the inaugural review for AEW Rampage on the channel. Uh, Rampage debuted last night uh, for AEW, their second show, past Dynamite. Uh, of course, uh, we've been waiting for it for a while for AEW to have a second show. We know it's been brewing um, the last couple of years of their existence, and now it's happened with their show expanding, with the roster expanding, uh, and it was a heck of a first show. It was a heck of a Rampage, 1 hour. I'm not sure if they'll stick with it. Um, Obviously, there are things I liked and disliked about the old Rampage format, now subject to change, but nonetheless, it was good. Uh, First Rampage, and if you're new to the podcast, click that subscribe button. See more of my videos on the homepage with my sports OV topics as well. Also, AEW Dynamite reviews. Catch those up. Uh, also, see. Also, if you like this video, click that like button as well. But with that out of the way, sorry for it being a little late. That earlier than I wanted. Um, Today I went to get gas for my car and it was absolutely packed. So took a while, but got through it. Now I'm here for the review. So with that out of the way, now let's get into the review. So the show started off with Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the Impact World Championship. Now, so the little details to shine this away from Dynamite. So Dasha Gonzalez, she was the announcer, the ring announcer for Rampage. Justin Roberts, stick to Dynamite. Dasha, you know, she did make a few, or she did make announcements during the Daily's Place era, excuse me, um, the previous year. So she obviously has experience in AEW, and she did pretty good for tonight announcing. Uh, Also, there was the four-man booth for commentary with Excalibur, Chris Jericho, Mark Henry, and Taz. I mean, obviously it was a bit much, but you can tell for this show they wanted to stockpile it uh, to start off on the right foot. Um, Mark Henry did a fine job uh, for his first commentary time for AEW. Obviously we know Chris Jericho has had many times commentated in AEW thus far. We know Excalibur and Taz's chemistry commenting on Dark, which is good, but we'll see. But I thought it was okay for tonight, the whole aspect. So now getting into the first match of Christian versus Omega. So, for those who know that Christian, you know, he has had experience, obviously, being the top champion in TNA or Impact before. Twice he held the title before. Once uh, he beat Jeff Jarrett at Against All Odds in 2006, and then he beat Sting in a triple threat match with him, Sting, and Abyss. So he obviously has a record with Impact. He hasn't been there since, well, he hasn't wrestled a match since 2008, but he did make an appearance at Slammiversary 2012. Now getting into this match, we know that Kenny Omega, the belt collector, um, it was strange because the outcome, we kind of have a feeling that this match at All Out, it's very suspect, but the outcome I think was the best they could have done it for Christian. But it was a very good match. So it was intense. It was very intense by Christian to start. Um, then as they were getting to the match, Christian was stumped on the outside before the break. Afterwards, they were fighting on top rope. Christian countered with a sunset flip powerbomb, then a diving European uppercut for a near fall. Omega followed up with a "You Can't Escape" for a 2 count. Christian reversed DT. Then Omega hit a powerbomb followed by a V trigger for a near fall. Christian hit a spear. A good looking spear by Christian for a near fall. The near falls in this match were very believable, I would say. They didn't overkill it, but they were very good. So Christian snapped Omega off the top rope and then had a frog splash. And then the end of the match was, I mean, it's conflicting, obviously, for many sides, me included. But so Don Callis, he was out with Omega. He distracted the referee, Brian Hebner, who is the lead official in Impact. So he distracted Hebner, and the Young Bucks frantically just kind of came out. Omega hit a low blow on Christian. They slid a chair in the ring for Omega. As he set up, he was looking to hit because it was folded open. Omega was looking to hit one winged angel on Christian on the chair. But Christian fought out of it, hit a kill switch on Omega on the chair, and then flung the chair out of the ring and pinned Omega 1, 2, 3 for the victory. And Christian is a three-time Impact or TNA heavyweight champion. So it was obviously a good moment, a good feel-good moment for Christian. You know, just 7 years ago, he had to retire due to concussion issues, and then he came back in February uh, for AEW. Well, actually, he came back for Royal Rumble in January, but ultimately signed with AEW at Revolution. Now, obviously, we know his introduction has been kind of botched, but this moment was very good for him. I would say. Now, besides that, some of the optimisms for starters, Kenny Omega, he is still the AEW World Champion. Still the AEW World Champion. And yes, he didn't lose cleanly, but he still lost. And he has been undefeated for a good while. And it's a crack in the armor, per se. Now, we'll have to see because I'm sure we thought that the demise of the belt collector of Omega was going to start with Hangman, and then perhaps he loses it after he ventures for Impact, loses it to someone in Impact, and then he loses it in AAA Mega Championship. But he already is lost, and he lost the Impact World Championship last night. Now, tonight, he's facing Andrade El Idolo, which should be a fun match, but at the same time, it's for the AAA Mega World Championship. And, Omega, with the talks that he's hurt, perhaps he needs a little bit of time off to recuperate, heal himself up after this run. We'll have to see. But now, they could, of course, do this match again, like it was quote unquote confirmed for All Out, and perhaps Omega can win the title back. We'll see, but I think the match tonight against Andrade will certainly tell the story more of what's going to happen with Omega going forward. Because with the pandemic and restrictions, all that, we haven't really seen the Forbidden Door really much. I mean, yes, it's open more and more the last few weeks, or the last number of weeks, but Omega as the world champion and from the live crowd skin, it hasn't really happened. So we'll have to see. But really good moment for Christian. So then Mark Henry was in the back. He interviewed Christian, who was celebrating with Jurassic Express, and Orange Cassidy was just luring in the background, as Orange Cassidy ultimately does. So, oh well. But so then we got Fuego del Sol versus Miro for the TNT Championship. If Fuego wins, he gets an AEW contract. So this was about as good as you can expect. Miro, since he broke away from Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, has been on a monstrous tear in AEW. And it's going victory after victory after victory. And has looked strong. The Redeemer has. So Fuego who has been detailed as the master of the Tornado DT, hit Miro with a Tornado DT off the bat, which staggered Miro, and hit another, which knocked Miro out of the ring. And so Fuego was conflicted because you can't win a championship on a countout, but now commentators were still building it up that if Fuego still wins on a countout, he gets his AEW contract. So Fuego was conflicted, but the visual was Miro was struggling. He had time to get back in the ring, and ultimately he got back in the ring at 9. But so then all of a sudden, Fuego hits another Tornado DT, vicious Tornado DT, for a near fall, and Fuego obviously has the advantage, but then right off the bat, Miro caught Fuego for a brutal Samoan drop, which Jericho called a Bulgarian drop. This wasn't one of Jericho's best commentating jobs, but he did have some good points. Of course, in the first match, talking about the Canadian heat between Christian and Omega, but some good spots. So then, Miro hit a brutal Machka kick or a thrust kick, whichever you want to call it, then locked in the game over, and Fuego tapped in less than a second. Miro retains, and the Redeemer still looks strong. So, excuse me. So, Miro ripped up the contract of Fuego del Sol. So then we go to commercial, and then we come back. There's an ovation for Fuego in the middle of the ring. Then all of a sudden, you hear Sammy Guevara's music play. And so he comes out to stage. Tony Khan comes out from Gorilla. He has the headset on. He gives Sammy Guevara a clipboard with an AEW document. So then Sammy Guevara, he comes down, walks the ring. He praises Fuego, says, oh, he's 150, but it's whatever because these fans love you. I mean, the back love you. And then Tony Khan graciously has allowed him as his best friend, as Fuego's best friend, to say to him that he's all elite. So they embrace, and Fuego del Sol officially has a contract for AEW. Now, Fuego, you know, there's not a lot there as far as the look, but he has shown shine in the ring. And, you know, I don't watch Dark a lot. I do skim through it and see the main points, or try to. But Fuego, I tell, has been on Dark a lot. And, most notably, obviously, he was knocked out by Malachi Black a couple weeks ago. Or, it was actually last week. Yeah, last week. Or, no, wait, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. It's weird because with Rampage now, my head is trying to circle back to Dynamite. So, yeah, but 2 weeks ago, and then now tonight, he lost to Miro, but was a good match and a good showing for what it was for Fuego, and was a heck of a moment. You could tell, and the crowd was eating it up. So then we got a split panel interview of Mark Henry with Britt Baker and Red Velvet for the main event. So Mark Henry, he was in the middle of this whole panel, and he asked Red Velvet point blank, why did you ruin Britt Baker's moment on Wednesday in Pittsburgh? So Velvet just said that it was revenge for the time where she was hit with a crutch, and Mark Henry asked Britt Baker, he was about to ask her something, and then Baker stopped Henry and then point blank said that she's not going to rain on her parade because it doesn't rain in Pittsburgh as long as she's a champion, and that, yeah, that point blank Britt Baker. This match, however, really good, really good. And it just shows the development of the women's roster for AEW than how it was a couple of years ago. And was a heck of a match. Um, Man, oh man, Britt Baker's stock as a star in AEW. Not sure what to say. Not sure what to say. But Britt Baker, she came out with this illustrious entrance. The pyro stuff. Just a great visual, along with the terrible towels from the audience. Chris Jericho said, I'm not sure how much money it took for Tony Khan to give out to all of those people in the audience, but yeah, but so getting into the match, so it felt sluggish for a bit, but then it got better down the stretch. So was a swinging neckbreaker by Britt, then went for crucifix for near fall. And then she went for the lockjaw, but was countered by Red Velvet for near fall. Britt had this like sleeve, this like padding more on the wrist as precaution. So Velvet, she had a super kick along with a moonsault for near fall. Uh, she was attempting to take off the padding, the protective padding of Britt Baker's wrist. I mean, good minds think alike. You know, a number of years ago, Adam Cole, he had to wrestle against Matt Riddle with a wrist issue, along with Pete Dunne and Daniel Bryan for a number of months, but he got it done. And of course, now his Bay it is pretty much following his footsteps and a heck of a match. But so the protective padding, but still the sleeve was still there for Britt. She had a curb stomp on Velvet for their fall. And then the finish came when Velvet, she went for Britt Baker's own lockjaw submission, but she couldn't quite fully apply it. I'm not sure if it took a bit for Britt to get to the ropes, but eventually she got it. She rolled over Velvet into the lockjaw of her own, but she couldn't apply it because Velvet, she was targeting Britt Baker's injured arm. So then she switched it. You know, she applied it from one arm to the other to the side so that way her good hand was able to fully apply the hold, and Velvet gives up and Britt Baker retains in Pittsburgh, and heck of a homecoming for Britt Baker. Her parents, it looked like, were at ringside. They cheered her on. It was a heck of a moment. So then Chris Statlander, she was in the audience, and you know how strong she's been portrayed as of late since her return. She saved Red Velvet from more attack post match from Britt Baker. And then Jamie Hayter came out of the audience and attacked Chris Statlander. And apparently, Jamie Hayter, who made some appearances during the starting portion of AEW, but now she's back as Britt Baker's backup because, you know, a couple weeks ago she doctored that she needs some backup. Thus, Jamie Hayter answered the call. And it works in a way because, so if we're going to do Chris Statlander versus Britt Baker at All Out, we know how over Britt Baker has been the last number of weeks. And if she is a heel and Chris Statlander is a babyface, that's it's only right in the progression that Britt Baker does a heel maneuver, as in she helps with the backup and the post-match attacks to help her get more heel heat and get her more boos to make it more easier for that heel versus babyface dynamic. So, but if this is the match, which I'm assuming based on the events last night, to be Chris Sallander for Britt Baker, it would be a heck of a women's match. It would be a heck of a match to have for All Out, and wouldn't blame it for happening. So it's a little more tuition as to what's going to happen All Out. So just a little more, but we still got a few more weeks to come, but a heck of a Rampage, Rampage, a heck of first Rampage debut. On Wednesday, of course, we got Dynamite, we got Sammy Guevara for Shawn Spears, we got 2.0 for Darby Allin Sting, we got MJF versus Chris Jericho. Heck of a match. Also, we got Jurassic Express versus Young Bucks for the tag team titles. Heck of a lineup for Dynamite on Wednesday. Next week, we got Rampage, the first dance, which everyone's presuming CM Punk is gonna be there in the United Center in Chicago. I mean, it only makes sense with all that's led up to it that I would be more shocked if he's not there at the United Center, but nonetheless, that's a review for you guys. Thank you. Again, apologize for the little lateness for the review. Tried to get up earlier, but again, issues with traffic and whatnot. But nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, click that like button as well as the subscribe. I'll be back obviously on Tuesday with sorts of topics, along with Thursday, AEW Dynamite review, and then next Saturday, AEW Rampage, the first dance review. So, thank you. Be safe. Peace.